Hey, before we dive into this week's episode, if you've been enjoying the show, I'd love your support. Take just 10 seconds to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps others discover the wisdom and inspiration that I share on the Pivot to Balance podcast. Let's build a community of balance seekers together. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to share the love. Now let's dive into the episode. Hello and welcome to the Pivot to Balance podcast. I'm your host, AK, and I hope you're doing well. In a world that pulls us in a million different directions and with a billion distractions, finding balance can feel like an ambiguous quest. Join me on this podcast as I try to navigate life's twists and turns with mindfulness, purpose, and grace. In each episode, we will dive into topics like self-care, personal growth, mindset shifts by sharing practical insights, stories, and maybe even interviews. Get ready to pivot, to recalibrate, and find your balance. Follow the Pivot to Balance podcast, and I will see you on the other side. Hello. It's December 30th, and we're almost near the new year. And I wanted to make this episode because most of us are thinking about vision boards, and I wanted to make this one because it's been on my mind for the last couple of months. I actually made my vision board, I think in September or October. So in this episode, we're going to talk about vision boards, but not the cut out a bunch of pretty pictures and hope for the best kind. I'm going to talk about vision boards that actually work and the kind that don't just look good, but help you get clear, stay focused, and most importantly, keeping things balanced. So whether you're a first-time vision board creator or someone who just loves goal setting as much as I do, let's get into it. So first off, let's get one thing straight. Balance does not mean limiting yourself. It means giving your goals structure without losing your vision. Because here's what I've realized. If your board is all big dreams and no actionable steps, it might leave you feeling stuck instead of inspired. On the flip side, if it's all short-term goals and no aspirations, you might hit those targets, but still feel like you're playing it small. I've created vision boards for the last 6 years, and I've seen the good and the bad, and I've learned that the trick is actually balance, which is basically mixing the long-term dreams that scare you a little with tangible short-term goals that push you forward right now. So, for example, let's say that your big goal is to start your dream business, and the tangible step is building a website or testing one product idea, let's say by April or March. This way, your board isn't just about what you want someday, it's about what you're doing this year to make it happen. So grab a pen and paper. I'm going to walk you through the steps. Step 1, make it personal, not perfect. Let's be honest. We all want our vision boards to look aesthetic. But one thing I've learned is don't let perfection stop you from starting. I made a physical version first, and then I recreated it digitally. So my physical one had cutout, quotes, and colors that I kind of see myself for 2025. I have images of things I actually know I'll be doing in 2025. Instead of making it unnecessary things that I know I will not be doing, I don't want to do it just because I think everyone else is doing it. And then I made a digital version of it so that I could access it wherever I go. And one thing about vision boards, it has to be you. You cannot make it for someone else or for someone else to see. And it has to be whoever you are, and that's what matters. Step number 2, keep it your energy, literally. Now, this is a little personal, but I'll share it anyway. I don't show my vision board to anyone. No one. Not because I'm superstitious, but because it feels too personal. It's like letting someone read your journal. It just doesn't sit right with me. So my vision board sits right above my desk where I see it every day. And if people are coming over to my place, I cover it with a baking paper. Yeah, with a baking paper. Because not everyone's energy needs to hit my goals. I don't want anybody to see what my goals are because for some reason I feel like if people know what my exact goals are, I will not actually do them. But in some cases, it's good to tell people what you want to do because it depends, right? It depends on what your goals are actually like. Step number 3, use emotion, not just images. The tip that I want to share here that changed the way I create vision boards, pick images that feel like you. Not just photos that look pretty, but the ones that actually make you feel something. It could be a quote that hits you hard, an image that reminds you of freedom or confidence, something that pulls you forward every single time you see it. Because a vision board isn't just about looking at it, it's about feeling it. So every time I look at my vision board, I'm like, you wanted to do this, but you're not doing it. Like it's there's an emotion tied to it because I know how badly I actually want to do something. Hey, if you listen to this podcast, I think you will also love my newsletter, Elevator Gazette. I talk a lot about elevating your professional and your personal lives. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter. Go to anushakhannan.com/email list, and I'm sure you will love it. Join everyone who is like-minded. And now let's get into the episode. Step number 4, don't stop at dreams, map the steps. One of the biggest mistakes is filling the board with dreams, but no steps to actually get there. And I get it. Like, dreaming is fun, but it's the actionable steps, the roadmaps, that turn dreams into plans. So think about this. For every big goal on your board, add one smaller step that moves you closer this year. So for example, people know that I'm writing a book. If I haven't already announced it here, I'm writing a book. And the step to get to that place would be to complete X amount of chapters by whatever month, right? Because balance dreaming with doing. When you actually know what you want to achieve and you know how to actually get there, it's a lot easier. And you kind of trick your brain into looking for evidence that you're supposed to do the thing you want to do. Step number 5, let it evolve with you. One thing with vision boards is people are like, this is my vision board for 2025. I want it to only be this way. Nothing's going to change. But here's the thing, goals change, and so should your vision board. Think of it as a living document, not a one and done project. Update it when priorities shift, because life changes and your goals can change. You might be like, I want to get placed in Google, and then you might end up going to Google and not liking the work there. And you might be like, actually, I want to be an entrepreneur. That doesn't mean that you didn't achieve your goal. It just means that you have different goals now. So replace images that do not resonate anymore, because it's not about starting over. It's about growing with it. Step number 6, look at it every day. You did not spend all this time creating a vision board just to forget about it, right? Put it where you'll see it. Your desk, your phone, your lock screen, anywhere you can glance at it often. And when you look at it, don't just just a bunch of images on my corkboard, just a bunch of images as my wallpaper. Actually picture yourself living that life. Visualize. Picture the feeling of crossing that goal off your list. Because seeing isn't enough. You honestly have to feel it. And I'm going to be honest with you. Vision boards won't magically make your goals happen, but they'll keep you focused when life gets busy. They'll remind you to stay grounded when you feel overwhelmed, and they'll push you to take action when you're tempted to procrastinate. So whether you're building your first board or updating an old one, make sure it's balanced and dream big, but give yourself the steps to get there too. That's basically all I had for this bonus episode. I hope you have a great time making a vision board. If this episode got you thinking about your vision board and how you approach it, share it with someone who's also creating their vision board. And yeah, I think I'll see you in 2025. So advance Happy New Year. And I hope you have an amazing, balanced, peaceful, achieving all your goals kind of year. And now go grab a cup of lemon water, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.